Part of our program with Sue Lennox, who will be talking with the youth leads as well and telling us about the youth lead of the world approach. So Sue, thank you.
Hi, wonderful to be here, and I'd also like to begin by acknowledging that I stand on Aboriginal land, always has been, always will be, and really acknowledge the Indigenous people that we have present and invite the elders and the wise ones from the past and the present and the future to be with us. It's really neat to be here in a global community. What a special event. So AusGreen is an organisation that my husband and I set up over 20 years ago. Our focus is on building learning and leadership for sustainability using social innovation to bring about community-driven change. I live on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, and these are three of my beautiful grandchildren that I have the pleasure of living with, and I have to say that they guide all my actions. They're constantly calling to me saying, what's the future I'm going to have, and how are you preparing me and this world for this future? AusGreen is focused on sustainability, which for us means living in harmony with current generations, future generations and nature. We are working internationally in India, East Timor and Central America. Our particular focus with future generation programs is Youth Leading the World, which is going to be this presentation. And we're also one of the lead partners for the Great Eastern Ranges Initiative, which is building a biodiversity corridor from Cape York all the way around to the Grampians. So, 20 years in, hundreds of thousands of people and communities from right across the world being involved in our programs. And we said to ourselves about 7 years ago, actually we're in really big trouble. And how do we take what we know is an effective and transformative approach to engaging people and young people and turn it into something that can really make a difference in the world? And so we decided that we would sort of build on our crazy idea that the ones who think that they're crazy enough they can change the world are the ones that actually do. And also our commitment to working in a vision focus. So rather than focusing on fixing the problems, we're focused on building the kind of world that we want to be part of. We decided that we needed to take our process, which involved focusing on what's going on so that we're really grounded in citizen science and understanding the challenges of these times and how they impact us, developing a vision for the future, creating change strategy that comes from the communities themselves, and then deciding, what we can actually do to take action. How do we take that process to scale? And how do we continue to teach the skill of listening deeply to each other, to the earth and to our own hearts? So we decided that we would invent a new initiative that involved us training and supporting local people to use this process to bring about change in their own communities. And I'll just throw in little vignettes all the way. Vanessa is one of our youth facilitators. She decided that she was sick of trying to influence politicians, so she's become one, and she's one of the youngest elected representatives of local government in New South Wales. Here's some of our facilitators in a training earlier this year, and I love this picture because it's the image of walking together and co-support. So what we've been able to do with this initiative is make it a whole lot more accessible, take it to scale whilst maintaining our impact, and excitingly we've driven a 10-fold reduction in cost, a 10-fold increase in participant numbers and a 10-fold increase in the number of regions that we're working in. We've just finished training our 500th facilitator aged 14 to 60, and we're now operating in 70 regions, including Colombia. Keen to have a yarn. Another key has been developing an online facilitator training program so that people don't have to travel to be part of Youth Leading the World, and that's proved to be a really important part of the program. So 70 regions, that's where we're now working, pretty cool, and it's really quite blown me away how quickly we've been able to grow in a space of 5 years from 7 to 70 regions. But the impacts and outcomes that we're getting, I think, are the really important things in terms of increased understanding of climate change and sustainability, increased personal confidence and leadership capacity, increased connectivity with other change makers locally and globally, and reductions of ecological footprint. But probably what's most important is this network of incredible facilitators who are committed to drive change and are an amazing support to each other, you know, and we walk together. That's the beautiful Antonio Sanchez in Guatemala, where we've very recently run a facilitator training program. So I just want to tell you one story just to give you a sense of the power of this program. This is a bunch of 14-year-old guys that were involved in Youth Leading the World in 2009, and they're sitting around in a circle in their grumbly voices saying, "No one in my school gives a damn about climate change except me." And we said to them, well, how do you change that? And they decided that they were going to get together, and they decided they would set up an environment group that ran across schools. So the first thing they did was got a Facebook page going, and the next day they had 20 signed up for their Facebook page, treating them in a way that values and trusts their capacity to be change leaders and respects their ideas. We completely encourage them to go for it. And that group, the Sydney Youth Climate Action Network, rapidly grew to have 600 members right across Sydney, and also spread to Brisbane and Melbourne, from a bunch of young guys going, we're the only ones in our school that gives a damn, well, let's get together and support each other to make change. They would go along to community events and have a really big impact on the people around their communities. But to me, the most significant part of this is, by coming together and tackling their concern, they've tackled something that's actually not just for them, but for everyone. You know, when you have something that you're worried about and you bring about a change, the learning that you get in that process is really significant, because there are thousands of other people who share your concern and want to see change happen. Here's a bunch from Guatemala again, from one of our recent programs there about connecting, creating change. What are the keys to success? And we ask the young people involved in the program rather than come up with them themselves, and I'm going to get a couple to come up and tell you in a moment. So the first is that we're informed, we use citizen science, we make sure we fully understand what's going on, so that we're very grounded in where we are, and we have the capacity to read the landscape and monitor changes. We're inspired, we're vision driven, we're connected with other change makers, both in our local community and globally. And importantly, there are role models. You know, we walk the talk. Everyone involved in this network is absolutely dedicated to bringing about deep change and lives that on a daily basis. And everyone involved is being driven by their own ideas. And they're all involved. You know, we build skills for and tools for participation through the training programs, and it's very much a youth-to-youth program. But rather than hear from me, I'd like to just invite some of the Youth Leading the World facilitators that are here present to stand up, and invite Cedar and Kate to just quickly tell us in their own words, rather than click a video, you know, what it's meant for them to be involved.
Hi there everyone, my name is Kate Fields, I'm 16 years old and I come from the Upper Hunter Valley here in New South Wales, Australia. So the first thing I got from Youth Leading the World was that it was 3 days off school last year, and since then it's snowballed, quite literally. I found out on the first day that my eco footprint took up 4 planets to be living the lifestyle that I did 1 year ago. Since then, since that 3-day congress, I've been hooked, and it's just been an amazing changer in my life. So I've taken it back to my family first, and we started changing the way we live to alter our carbon footprint and slowly bring it down month by month. And then since then, we've made more of a community with our Youth Leading the World Congress members. We've now become facilitators recently, holding a congress for the next generation of Youth Leading the World Upper Hunter students from an area of 100 kilometres around the Upper Hunter Valley, with 60 students attending that congress. That was led by youth leaders like Madison and I, she's down in the crowd. And so we're getting our message out to a broader spectrum into the region, and we attend community events to show people and to heighten awareness in our area. Okay, so 1 year down the track, I've now decreased my carbon footprint to only one planet. And that's a huge achievement. So all I can think of is that if we had the amount of enthusiasm that we have in Youth Leading the World among all youth in Australia, and we're all living with one planet to sustain our lifestyle, how can that change the future that we live in?
Hi, my name's Sarah and I'm the leader of my school's environmental group. Might I add what an honour it is to be in the presence of such distinguished individuals. I first met Sue Lennox at a camp for the Youth Environmental Network at Woogamai EEC near the Blue Mountains. Sue introduced me to the idea of running a Youth Leading the World Congress for my local region. I instantly took up the daunting task of organising the entire Congress and negotiating with stakeholders, such as my school executives that I was thankfully on good terms with. Though I faced many hurdles, the Congress was a massive success with over 100 students attending from 7 different schools. As a direct result, my environmental group has gained a lot more support, and the Congress was recognised as the largest in 2013 out of the 70 locations around the world. We received media attention and have been given permission by our school for another Congress next year, but this time we are aiming for 600 students, not 100. Looking back at my contribution to the environmental movement so far, I've noticed something that I'm sure many others share. When I began, I didn't realize the true scope of many of the issues at hand and many of the ripples these issues have that will affect those who haven't got the capacity to unfasten our callousness and pernicious actions. The further I delve in, the more I wish to ensure the betterment of all beings, for the fauna and flora of forests being destroyed, the organisms of the Great Barrier Reef, our children, our grandchildren, and through many of Osgreen's initiatives, Youth Leading the World in particular, I have not only developed the capacity to do those aforementioned things, but have also been able to refine and cultivate myself and reconnect myself with nature, which quite frankly is missing from many individuals in my generation. We are the leaders of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and without that intrinsic relatedness with nature, I don't see how, as individuals or as a species, we'll be able to help our planet when she is reckoning for our succor. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Sue for your never-ceasing guidance, Wendy and Macquarie University for giving me this opportunity, and to everyone in this room for all of the incredible work you are doing to try to reconnect youth with nature. It is a daunting, albeit probably one of the humanity's most important and pressing issues. Thank you.
I'd just like to invite, we have a fabulous partnership with Macquarie University where we're running the regeneration project that is all about youth inspiring youth to care for nature and using youth as co-researchers. I'd just like to invite the young people involved in that program and the mentors just to stand up so we can see you, and really big congratulations to Macquarie University team. Real treat to be working with you. And we've got flyers for that, and if you would like to get involved in Youth Leading the World, here's some things you can do. Bring it to your region, volunteer, train as a facilitator, and help us to take it from 70 to 700.